Hi everyone, my name is Freddy and I'm one of the engineers at Gradio. A couple weeks ago, Gradio released version 4.0, which comes with a lot of really cool new updates to the Gradio library, all focused on making Gradio much more customizable and extensible than it was in the past. One of the coolest things that came with 4.0 is the ability to create your own custom Gradio component. So what I wanted to do today with you is go through a live coding session of creating a custom component so that you can get a feel for how to do it yourself. Um, yeah, so for this example, we'll be creating we'll be creating our own version of the Gradio Chatbot component that's focused on multimodal applications. So you'll be able to return messages and send messages that contain both text and media, like images, files, and videos. Without much further ado, let's get started. I'm really excited. So today, what I want to do is walk through an example of how you would build your own multimodal chatbot component. So the Gradio chatbot component can already display images, so it already is multimodal, but it can't interleave text and media components. So you have to send like a video or an image and a separate message from the text. And I want to build a chatbot that can show the text and the media in the same message. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first step to creating a custom component is to install Gradio 4.0. So let me just pip show Gradio. So I'm using Gradio 4.1.1 here. Any Gradio 4.0 version should work for this case. Okay, so the first step after that is to create the scaffolding for your custom component. So in Gradio 4.0, there is a Gradio CC command line tool. CC stands for custom components. And then it comes with a certain set of commands that you can use to bootstrap your custom component. So the one that we're going to use here, it's the build, the create command. The create command, creates a new component for you. So Gradio CC create, and then I'm going to call it multimodal chatbot, and then the template. And then you can pass it a template, which is like an existing component to build off of. So in this case, it's very natural to build off of the chatbot component. So I'm going to run that. Okay, so it's going to, create the backend code, some front end code, install Python, install the JavaScript dependencies, all that good stuff. Just give it a second here. Water in the meantime. Cool. So that all worked. So what that did is it created a multimodal chatbot directory, which I'm going to open in VS Code, which is right here. Cool. So if we look at the directory structure, there's three parts. There's the backend, the front end, and the demo. So the demo is like a demo you can use to test out your component, and then obviously the backend and front end contain the backend and front end code. Cool. It creates a README for you, a PyProject TOML file that has like your project config. There's a couple fields here that you can fill in if you want to. So Freddy Bolton. Then my email in this case will be Freddy at HuggingFace.co. Cool. And then you can, add some keywords, some, all that good stuff. If you have dependencies, you can add them here, but in this case, Gradio is the only dependency we need. Cool. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the backend. So I'm more of a Python developer, but you don't need to be a front-end expert to get started building custom components, specifically or especially when you template off an existing component. A lot of the work is already done for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete some of this stuff. So what templating does, it literally pulls in the chatbot component from the Gradio library. So there's some Gradio specific stuff here that we don't need for our case, like this like auto documentation stuff. Cool. But everything else, everything else looks good to me. So the first thing that you do when you design a custom component is think about the data model. So the data model is something that's new in Gradio 4.0, but it basically encapsulates the data that you're going to be sending to the front end and the data that the front end is going to be sending to your component. So as you know, as we can see here, the chatbot data, it's a list of tuples, and the tuple is the element of the tuple is either a string or a file, right? So that kind of says what the problem in my mind with the original chatbot, or not the problem, or like the thing that we want to change is that rather than having a string or a file message, we want to have one piece of data encapsulate both. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to keep the file message the same. What we're going to do, class multimodal message or multimodal chatbot data. I think that looks good. So what this will be is that it'll be this will be a Gradio model. This will be a text, so it'll be a string, and it'll be a list of files. So it'll be list file message. And then these things can be optional. Yes. Cool. And then in our chatbot data, what we're going to do is this will be a tuple of the union of, basically it'll be optional multimodal. I think I'm going to change this to multimodal message. Multimodal message. Okay. Multimodal message, and then this will be optional multimodal message. Cool. So what this is saying is that the chatbot data is going to be a list of tuples, and the tuple will consist of, a pair of multimodal messages. Either one can be none. Okay, so that's almost the hardest part. Okay, so now every Gradio component has a pre-process and post-process method. So what this does is that so let's look at pre-process first. What this does is it'll take the payload, which is the data that we get from the front end. In this case, it's the chatbot data, and it'll turn it into the data that your prediction function is supposed to receive. So in this case, it'll turn the chatbot data into a list of lists and all that stuff. But I don't actually, for this case, I don't think we need to do all that. I think we could just pass the chatbot data to the actual Python function or prediction function that will use this component. So what we're going to do is actually, let's look at pre-processed chat message. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do, this will return payload chatbot data. So chatbot data or none. And this will return a chatbot data or none. So the payload is none. We do that. That's good. And then what we're going to do is, actually what we can do is we'll just return a list of multimodal chat message or multimodal message. Let's do that. Okay. So we don't need that, I think. So for message pair in payload.root, okay, so what we're going to do, so it's calling this pre-processed chat message. So all this is doing is just adding the MIME type to the file path if it's not already there, and calling clean doc. So what we're going to do, so message pair for message pair. Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, yeah. So what is this going to do? Post-process, pre-process chat message. Oh, here we go. Calling. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I don't think we need any of this. So we could just, yeah, let's just, we'll just return payload root. Oh, sorry. Return payload root. Okay, that looks good to me. And then we can get rid of this stuff. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So now let's go to post-process. So post-process takes the data returned by the Python function and then turns it into the data that's going to be sent to the server. So what this is doing, it's adding a MIME type to the file data, and it's also cleaning the chat message. It's calling clean doc. So let's do that. Okay, so so the chat message will be a chatbot. No, not that. It would be a multimodal message or a dictionary or none. And then this will return a multimodal message or none. Okay, so if multimodal message is none, we return none. If it's a dictionary, what we're going to do is chat message equals, we're going to turn it into a multimodal message. Okay, dict. Is this right? Yes, it is right. Okay, cool. And then what we're going to do here is, okay, so then what we're going to do here is we're just going to call these things independently, or just these things on the chat message. So chat message text is going to be chat message text, and then I don't know what that's doing. Oh yeah, so for file in chat message files, file file, it's line type. It's going to be type. And I think that is all we need. Cool. And then we're going to return chat message. Cool. That looks good to me. Multimodal message, list of file. Here's the way side. What is a multimodal message? A list of files. It's a list of file message. Yep. Okay, so this will be a list of files, file message. Cool. Yep. Okay, I think this looks good. Cool. And then the example inputs are what gets used in the API for API usage. So let's fix that. So this will be a text hello, and then files will be just an empty list for now. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So I think these are all the backend changes that we need to make. There might be some bugs here, but that's the fun of it. That's part of the fun. So now let's go to the front end. So, similar to the back end, what the front end directory contains when you template off a component is like the literal chatbot component that comes with Gradio. So if this is the first time seeing this, it might be a little bit overwhelming, but bear with me. I think it's actually not that tough. So this is the way that the front end components are structured typically is that there's an index.svelte file. So that is like the top level of the components front end implementation. And there's typically a couple like helper components in the shared directory that get called within the index.svelte or within other files here. Um, and maybe I should back up. What all this is, all that you're seeing on the screen here is Svelte. So Svelte is a front end. It's a library for creating front end components. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am not a front end developer, but I've found it pretty fun to start writing Svelte and start messing with these components once you get the hang of it. There's a slight learning curve, but after a couple hours at most, I think you guys should be okay. And hopefully this video is helping you guys ease that learning curve. Right. So maybe enough preamble. Let's start coding. These things will explain themselves, hopefully. But okay, so similar to the back end, what I want to do in the front end first is change the types here. Because like if you see here, every front end component has a value, basically, and the value has a type, and the type is the type that's sent from the back end. So you can see here, this is like the old type, which is like a string or like all this stuff, right? So what we're going to do, let me copy this. I'm going to modify this utils file to create some types here that we could use from our other components. So let me just look at this file message and multimodal message. Okay, so export type file message. Yes, that is what we want. And then this will be a file, which is file data. Oh, and then it'll be alt text. Yep, which is a string. And then we're gonna do this. Cool. And then export type. What did I call it? Multimodal message. Multimodal. Message. Cool. Okay, so you don't have to have the names line up or anything, but just for consistency and it's just good practice to keep these things the same so that we know they're the same. It'll be a multimodal message, so this will be a text, which is a string, and then there will be a list of files. So files, this will be file message. This, cool. Okie dokie. So now let's go back to the index and let's import that type. So import type, and then this will be a multimodal message from shared utils. Thank you. Okay, so let's change the type here. So this will be a multimodal message or null. And yeah, so this is it'll be like a list of tuples like the back end. So it'll be a multimodal message or null. Cool. Okay, so now that we changed the type, I'm sure there's going to be some problems here. Okay, so this is also wrong. So this will be a multimodal message or null. And then this will be a multimodal message or null. Okay, so yeah, so right now our editor is rightfully complaining that these things are these things like the types aren't right, which makes sense because we just changed the types. So if we look at this, what this is doing, so this $sign thing is Svelte syntax for like declaring a variable to be reactive. So what this is saying is that whenever the value changes, either because it gets returned from a function or whatever, we're going to call this map function to like basically process each of the messages that come back from the back end, right? And then that'll get stored in this underscore value variable. Okay, so if we look at this, what this is doing is that it's going to map over the tuple of the user message and the bot message, and then it's going to do, basically if it's like a string, you're going to do this. If it's, not a string, you're going to do that or something, right? So basically this is using the old logic where it was either a string or a file. So now that it can be both, we need to take care of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new function. So let's call it function process messages or process message. So this will take a message which is of type multimodal message or null, and then it'll return a multimodal message or null. And, oh, okay. So if message is null, we're just going to return the message. Need some parentheses here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're basically just going to call these functions that already exist here otherwise. So message.text is going to be redirect src URL message.text, and then not message, so message.files is going to be message.files map normalized messages. Yep, I think this is okay. Cool. Process message. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to call this function there. So what we're going to do is we're going to return process message, user message, process message, bot message. Cool. Okay, so that is pretty good progress. Let me back up a little bit. Okay, so then now what's happening here is that the index, that Svelte file is, delegating, the actual rendering of the chatbot to this chatbot component. So obviously this has the old value type. Now that we changed it, it's complaining. But before we fix that, maybe it makes sense to kind of talk a little bit about what's happening here in this index Svelte file. So, similar, or let me back up. So basically every index.svelte file is going to have this one thing called the block. And the block is like the basic like rendering, block. That's why it has that name of the Gradio UI. So that's what kind of like makes sure that all the components kind of like render within like the box that you see them render in core Gradio. And they all take, they all take these properties here, like scale, mean, width, height, all that stuff. The other thing that every index.svelte file will have is going to be this thing called like the status tracker and the loading status. So this is basically what, like the spinning animation that you see when a component is being output by a function and like the processing is happening in the server. You see that like progress animation. That's basically what this status tracker is doing, right? So every component's going to have that. So when you see it, don't be scared. Not that you would be scared, I guess, but yeah, just kind of you can pretty much leave it as is. And then yeah, like the label is usually in this block label thing, and it takes an icon, right? So if you look here, there's like an icon library that you can use in your custom component as well. But basically, we don't have to touch any of this because we like how the normal chatbot renders. We're just changing a little bit about like the data processing. So we can leave most of this as is, but if you do want to change a little bit about how a component looks, you can do that, by modifying the code, basically. Cool. So let's go to this chatbot and let's fix the data issue. So let's import the type of import type multimodal message from utils. And then similar to what we did in index.svelte, this will be a multimodal message or null. And then this will be a multimodal message or null. Okay, and then here we go. Multimodal message or null. And then same thing here. Cool. Okay. So let's see, is there other stuff happening? Yeah, okay, so it's complaining, obviously, about the type being wrong. So message, so this will be handle select. So yeah, so let's change this to a multimodal message. Let's change this to multimodal message. Cool. Okay, so now let's go back down here. Okay, so let's kind of walk through a little bit about what's happening here. So basically, if the message is a string, you render like a markdown of the message. And then if the message is actually a file, what we're going to do is just basically render like a video or like a media component for that MIME type that corresponds on that MIME type. So if it's an audio, render an audio component. If it's a video, render a video component, all that stuff, right? So what we're going to want to do is always render the markdown message and then for loop over the files and then render, basically keep this and then, render render all the components that are in the files key. Hopefully that makes sense. When I start doing it, I hope it, or I think it will make a lot more sense, right? So we're going to get rid of that if because we're going to have a text message. We're going to move that a little bit back. And then what we're going to do is that in Svelte, you do $ each. So for each file in message files actually, is this the right syntax? Let me check. Actually, I always get confused. That's right. What the right syntax is. So let me verify each. Okay, I think it is. File. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do is basically bring all this stuff in here. If else if message. Okay. And I'm not sure about this button thing. Button. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it as is. So we're just gonna bring this in for each. Bring that in there. Okay. So is this the right? Oh, it's hashtag if. So if file is not null and file file MIME type includes audio. So I'm wondering if I usually like my the editor like kind of picks up on the type differences. I'm wondering if I broke something. Oh, okay. So this is wrong here because this needs to be message dot text because the text is a message, and then I believe this has to be called message. So do that, and then wondering what's going on here. Okay, so this looks good. Else if message and then file MIME type includes video. Do that. Else if message and then the sorry, this is wrong. It's file and then file alt text. Oh, not file one, file. Okay. So file, and then do the same thing here. Right. I think we're always gonna have. I think that's fine. We probably leave it as is. So file URL and file alt text, and then else if. Okay. So what is this complaining about? Maybe this is what my element is not open. Each. So, oh, and then I need to close the, oh, so I understand. So I need to close the, here. Okay, cool. Okay, so now that I did that, things are message text, message files. So let's see. Message pair, message is a multimodal message for each file in message files. So this is a string, multimodal message. Oh, sorry. What happened is that I was doing some I was doing some Python syntax there. See, like I said, I'm not really a front end guy, but that doesn't stop you from making or trying to make a Gradio custom component. Yeah, so message file. Okay, so this looks good. Okay, so if message and message. Oh, yeah. So okay, so obviously this thing is breaking now. File URL, and then this would be file URL. File original name, file path. Okay, I think this is probably okay. Or this, I mean, this whole message here. Okie dokie. So I'll tell you what, I feel pretty good about this. So this makes me feel like we've done most of the year that we've kind of done as much as we can without actually trying to run this. So let's run this. So let's go to our demo, and then what I'm gonna do. All right, so yeah, the demo. Basically, what it's doing is like it's rendering a an interactive and non-interactive multimodal chatbot. I don't know why we have this little comma here. I don't think we need this at all, actually. So let me just remove this. And then I don't think we need this either. So, okay. Let me go back to the terminal, right? So once you've made sufficient modifications to the code, or before, you can run this demo in a development mode to see if your code is working, right? So what development mode does is that it spins up the Gradio front end and the Gradio backend in an environment where changes to the code are reflected automatically, so you don't have to like restart the server or anything. So it helps iterate a lot faster on these components. Okay, so the way you do that is you do Gradio CC dev. Okay, so let's see. Cool. Okay, so it's working. It's opening here, my other laptop. Let me try to bring it. Okay, so I'm just gonna, give me a second, sorry. I'm just gonna new tab, open this here. Cool. Okay, so it's not loading. Probably means that there's a mistake somewhere. So let's figure it out. Can I read properties of undefined? Reading text. Where is this happening? In chatbot line 126. Okay, so let's go to the chatbot line 126. That's probably wrong. Let me go back to reading text. New chatbot. Here. Let me go back to the demo as example. Nothing here. Okay. So it's probably just a mistake in the front end. Let's try to figure it out. So let's go back to the code. So cannot read properties of value process message. I wonder if it's like a backend thing. So pre-process of payload, return that. Post-process, none. Properties of undefined. Okay. Let's see. Multimodal message. Console. Okay. Cannot read property. Oh, that new chatbot. Let's see. Okay. Cannot. Process message. So this will be a. Let's try to fix the types here. Multimodal message none. Okay, so maybe this is what was happening. So, okay, yeah, so maybe this is what was happening. Normalize messages, multimodal message. Okay, yeah, so the file is a file message. Okay, yeah, so this is, sorry, this is a file message. And this will return a file message. Okay. Okay, this looks good. Message text. Okay. Back to the console. Cannot be find reading text. Oh, okay. Cannot. This. Cannot read properties. Interesting. Okay. So I think what's probably happening is that the the value is none. So let's go to the demo. The value is none, or somewhere the value is none, and then it's not liking it because I'm assuming that it's not not none. So I'm just trying to think of, oh, this is why, so I'm not returning anything. The answer was staring me right in the face. Okay, so let's see. Moment of truth. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. See, it's really scary when it doesn't work. It's really fun when it does work. Okay, um, so awesome. That's great. So let's test our code a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like simulate a conversation here between a user and the bot where they're like exchanging like files and stuff. Um, so let's see. So user message one is going to be text, and then it's going to be hello, what is in this image? And then the files are going to be whoa, that's cool. I don't want to do that though, just because I don't know if that's actually a real file. I'm just going to copy a URL of a file that I do know. So this will be a list of files, and then the file is going to be, what I'm going to do is from Gradio. So basically, because the data model uses a file data, I'm just going to use that it'll be easier. File data, and then the path is going to be this URL here. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay. And then what we're going to do here, bot message one is going to be text. It is a very cute dog. And then files will be nothing. Okay. And then conversation is going to be user message one bot message. And then this has to be a list of lists. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to use conversation. Okay. So did it work? Oh, nope. None type has no attribute, expand tabs. Okay, so let me file text. So this is coming from, we look here, expand tabs. So I'm pretty sure that's coming, files. It's coming from our backend. Expand tabs, interesting. Okay, so for file, let's see. Okay, let me read the message again. Run type object has no attribute. Expand tabs. I wonder where it's getting called from. Let's go to our demo and make sure that it's the right thing. File data. I think this is the right thing. Let's see. Text files, list, file message. Yep. Is it? Oh, maybe the way that I wrote it. I'm assuming that the alt text is always present. Let's see, alt text. Let's see, post process. Text. Chat message. I wonder if it's this line here. So let me just comment that out. We'll see what happens if the error goes away. Change detected. So I think that did fix the error. No, it didn't. Oops. Let's see. So there is an error here. So it's not this. Go back to the demo. Oh, test text. Damn. Okay. Oh, there we go. Cool. So, hello, what is in this image? It is a cute dog. Awesome. So that worked. So it's probably better. It will probably be better to do a to like actually import the data model class. That way we get like a helpful pydantic error. But let us continue. So user message 2. So text. Let's see. Describe this audio clip, please. Let's be nice. Files. So this will be a file data. And then what I'm going to do actually, so we did a URL here. Let me just pass a local file. So let me just do that real quick. Over here in this other component, or this other terminal actually. So CP sources Gradio, Gradio demo, yes, audio debugger, I think. And then contina.web, I'm going to pass it to sources components, multimodal chatbot, demo. Cool. So let me go back. Oh, let me just put this over there. Okay, so file data. So the path in this case, so you can see here, I put it in the demo, contina.wav. So the path here is, it'll actually be demo-contina.wav because we're running this from the top level, not the demo directory. So contina.wav. Oh, actually, there's some crazy stuff there. Actually, it's easier to not use Copilot in this case. So file, close that, close that, close that. Okay, and then the bot's going to say, can't type, bot message 2, text. It is the Cantina song from Star Wars. Okay. And then no files. So now let's add that to our conversation. So user message 2, bot message 2. Change detected. Okay, so I'm hopefully it reloaded. So hello, what is in this image? Cute dog, describe this audio clip. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's like the Cantina song from Star Wars, and the bot is smart enough to know that. Okay, and then the last thing we'll do is a video. So user message 3. And this time, rather than the user sending a file, let's have the bot return a file just to show that that works too. Give me a video clip, please. And then, user will not send any files. And then bot message 3, text. Here's a video clip of the world. Files, and then let me just do the same thing. Let me just copy over a file real quick. Radio. So I'm just copying something from the Gradio repo of that test file that I use a lot in the Gradio repo. Sources. Okay, so let's go back here. So files, this will be a list, and it'll be a file data path. So you can see the video world.mp4. So demo world.mp4. Okay. Cool beans. Okay, so message 3, and then actually, you know what? Let's just send 2 files back. Why not? Just to show that we can display more than one file per message. File data. Let's just send the Cantina song back again. Cantina. And okay. So then let's add that to our conversation. So user message 3, bot message 3. Change detected. No errors. Nice. Okay, so give me a video clip. Here's a video clip of the world. You can play it. Nice. And then you can play the clip. Cool. So, good job, us. Good job, team. Yeah, so, there are a couple bugs there we have to figure out, but, that's usually how it goes. So it's not going to work the first time, even if you work on Gradio every day. You're still going to make mistakes. So it's just a matter of persevering, I guess. But yeah, that being said, though, if you run into any trouble that you can't figure out, feel free to ask on the HuggingFace Discord, in the Gradio channel, file an issue about things we can improve about this, because obviously we want to make this as easy as possible. So, okay, so now I'm pretty happy with this. Let me change this back to not use demo, actually, because I want to deploy this to HuggingFace, in which case, like the files are going to be in the same directory as where the server is being loaded from. So let me just, it's going to complain that it can't find the file, which is expected. Okay, so after you've done implementing your component, what you do is you build it. So you do Gradio CC build. Let me actually make this a little, okay, Gradio CC build. So what that is going to do is, it's going to like build the components. So it's going to package all the front end code and create a wheel, which is the standard Python package distribution file format of your components, right? So, so the wheel is located in the dist directory. So we do dist. Here we see that there is a wheel for a multimodal chatbot, and there is a the source distribution. Cool. So you could send this, to anyone. You could pip install this. Actually, yeah. Let me just show that real quick. So Python demo app.py, or actually, let me just cd into demo so that it works. Python app.py. So once you build it, you can run it outside of dev mode. So let's go check that out. So hooray. Yep. Awesome. Okay, so basically, once you build it, you can run it wherever you want, and then you could also send this file to any one of your friends, your colleagues. They can just pip install, like they could do pip install dist. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. Pip install dist, and then the wheel file, and then they'll have this, and they can use this component in any Gradio app. Right. But rather than you having to send this file manually to people, it'd be way easier if you could just upload this to PyPi so that anyone can install it with pip. And it'd be really cool if you could just like deploy it to HuggingFace immediately so that anyone can check out your component. So that is what we're going to do now. After you build it, only after you've built it, you can do Gradio CC publish. So what this will do is it'll walk you through the process of publishing to PyPi and to HuggingFace. So here it's explaining that if you upload it to PyPi, you can install it with pip install. So that's what we're going to do. So it's asking me if I want to upload it to PyPi. Yes, I do. And then what's needed is a username or a password. So you can create an account here. My account actually has two-factor authorization, so I'm not going to log in with my standard username and password. I'm going to log in with an API token. So username token. Let me go get my API token right now. So yeah, so this supports 2FA. Awesome. I authenticated. So I'm uploading the wheel and the source distribution to PyPi. So this is it's on PyPi now. I think that's super cool. So anyone can run this line and get this component and use it in their Gradio app. So I think that's really cool. And then it's saying that if you upload it to Hugging Spaces, anyone can use it without having to install it, right? So people who don't know Python, people who don't know how to code can use my multimodal chatbot component. So I want to do that, so I'm going to say yes. All right. So then the way that it's works is that it tells you to point it to a demo directory. So by default, it'll use the demo directory that you use throughout the development process. So I'm just going to leave it blank to signify that I want to use that demo directory. You can obviously change it if you want. And then it's also asking if I want to upload the source code. I do want to upload the source code, and then I'm just going to use the current directory because that contains the source code. So it's updating, it's uploading all of our files, it's uploading our wheel, and cool, now I think that updated. So it's building my Hugging Face space of my multimodal chatbot component. So let's speed this up in the edit. Cool. But our component is on PyPi, so it's really cool. You could basically install it in any Hugging Face space or on Colab or anywhere really. So any computer that basically has an internet access and pip installed. Okay, so now we started. Cool. It's working. Nice. Okay, so then here is our little chatbot component. Everything plays beautifully. This is so awesome. Nice. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely something new for me. So let me know if there's any feedback for how we can make this better. We definitely want to make it better if I can. But this is really cool, right? So this is, like our custom multimodal chatbot. And then what we're going to do in a subsequent video is build like a custom text box in which you can submit both text and file attachments simultaneously so that you could make use of this component. So stay tuned for part 2. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial again, and talk to you guys or see you guys soon.